Hey gang, it's Mrs. Larson from the Seekonk High School Library, and Noodletools did a big update last summer. And I know as we head into research season, a lot of you are going to be using it for projects. So let me show you a couple of the updates, and let's dive in. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is the main screen looks just the same. So you go to noodletools.com and you hit login, and that's when things start to look a little different. You're still going to choose Google to log in using your Google credentials. Should be pretty straightforward, and it will load. What Noodle Tools has tried to do is make it a lot cleaner. So it's clean and it's small are the two things. So you'll see these are some projects that I have. It will automatically archive your project. So if you have things from previous years, you can go ahead up here and you'll see it has archived it all. It puts you directly in the year that you're working on. So to start a new project, you just go to that green button in the top right hand corner and you hit new project. It will ask you for your project title. I'm just going to call mine sample, which formatting you want to use. MLA is the most common, and I typically recommend junior, and submit. Okay, and there you see you've got a new project. So you need to click on it to go in. And there's not going to be anything yet, but you should refer to this menu on the left-hand side for sources, note cards, etc. So once you get into those screens, everything looks the same. All right. So for instance, I always recommend adding sources first, adding your reference sources, books, articles, etc. So you go over and you add new source in that source screen. It will ask you all those same questions. Let's just assume for a moment that I'm adding a book. Okay. And all of a sudden, you're at the screen that looks just like, we're used to. Okay. So you can copy and paste the citation. You can use ISBN to add quickly, etc. Or you can build it from scratch. The note card screen also looks very similar once you get into it. Okay. And again, within Noodle Tools, any new action, you go to the top right and hit the green button, adding a new source, adding a new note card, anything. So you just add new note card, and all of a sudden it looks just like it always looked. Okay. So that's pretty much the most important thing is, don't be thrown by the new interface. Once you really dig into it, it looks just the same. The last pro tip that I'm going to tell you about, and for that I need to go into one of my sample projects. I'm going to look at this one that I did with Mr. Windsor's class. So here's all of my sources that I've added. It's looking great. How do I export it? You know that Noodle Tools you can export easily to Google Docs. You just go up to this little printer icon, and if you click on that, it's a little misleading because it's a printer, but it's also the export button. And you'll see that you have print export to Google Docs. All right, so it's right there. So thanks so much for joining me today. Those are just the really quick differences with Noodle Tools, but I think you'll find a lot of it is very, very similar to what you're used to. Please be sure to stop into the library if you need any help at all. This has been Mrs. Larson, and thanks so much for listening.